All right, we are live. Hello, and welcome to the Shamanic Journeys, episode number 3. Just getting started here, so we're with it and seeing where things go. But I had a guest, which I have now with me, Dianna Trujillo. Very shamanic energy, very spiritual, basically very able to see through, like I tried to explain earlier, and I do explain in some of my live streams when I'm kind of talking about different dimensions and how we ascend to that certain dimension. You know, we can ascend into the 5th dimension by basically seeing. Sorry, let me get rid of this. Sorry. So basically, just being able to kind of break things down from what we see, you know, right, what's thrown in our face to see on purpose, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, and that could be advertising. A lot of it right now that I'm noticing is, and we talked about this on the last show that we were on together, that, you know, political stuff coming out, propaganda coming out. And there's a lot of it. Seems to be kind of controlling the narrative or the narrative of a lot of people's minds. And I think it's important that, you know, I see through your posts and have been, you know, that's what stood out to me is you made some observations about it. Most people wouldn't notice, you know, because we're all kind of worked up by fear. So it kind of tends to blind us, get worked up into this frenzy of fear. So what do you think about the state of things right now? What's your take?
My take is what I'm seeing is the level of panic coming actually from the politicians, that they no longer do have the control over the masses that they once did. I think a lot of people are waking up, and what I'm seeing is sheer desperation and panic, and it's almost kind of comical lately. But I think you know, a lot of people are really opening their eyes. Even people that I've known before that have been really really dedicated to watching, you know, the news channels, and they were a great supporter of CNN or Fox or whatever, and they were like adamant, you know, that this was the truth. Those people are really starting to open their eyes, and they're like, hold on a minute, you know, like, wait a minute here, this is the dots are not connecting. And I think that I don't like to say like the powers that be, because it's really not. We're the ones that give them that power. It's more like the ones that are trying to gain control at the moment are they're in a desperate panic to gain back that control, and people are they're catching on too quick. But a lot of people are also falling for a lot of the mind melding going on with in the news, the commercials, movies, everything. It's just everywhere. Oh my God.
It's everywhere. It's every aspect of what we do. I mean, it's everywhere. It's like I said, everywhere. It's like advertising, and they have the resources to have that advertising everywhere, right? Yes. And then that starts to get blended in together. We get governments blending with private, you know, or corporations, and then things get really, really weird. And that's what's happening right now. And trust me, folks, it's going to get weirder. So I think it's important that we talk about how to, you know, try to keeping your sanity throughout these crazy times, because they're trying to create the craziness, because like Dianna said, they're trying to hold on to what's slipping away from them. And it's, you know, it's inevitable, but they're going to try to use whatever they can and whatever power they can. And the power is really our consent. It's really our minds and how we feel about things. So when we get these emotional things that get us emotionally involved, right? We get, you know, we hear somebody dying or hear, you know, something going on. And a lot of these things are injustices. There are a lot of injustices in the world. Yes. But it's funny how they choose certain ones, because, you know, and they choose that. And then it's a political thing. If the mainstream media is putting it on TV, then they obviously have some type of agenda there, or their bosses do, right?
Exactly. I mean, they play with our emotions because they are aware of
Yeah.
How our emotions affect our energy and the collective energy. They're completely 100% aware of that. They're also aware how that plays into astrological events and, spirituality. They're aware of how it affects our health, all of that. They're aware of all of that. So if they have an agenda and they want people to steer a certain way or whatever it is, all they have to do is affect us in a deep hurt place. These are wounds that we've carried for eons that they're picking now.
Yeah.
Like they're going for the jugular, and which are going to cause it's going to cause mass um, pain and hurt, and it's a real pain. Yeah, it's a real pain, and it's a real hurt because on a subconscious level, we do remember, and we're like, wait, I recognize that feeling. I have a reason to be mad. I have a reason to be hurt, even if it doesn't have anything to do with they're actually, triggering us with. But they understand how we work as energetic beings, so it's not too hard for them to manipulate us and influence us to manifest. They're literally triggering us to manifest a certain situation because they're aware of our mind-heart connection, and when that happens, stuff manifests. They're aware of stuff about us that a lot of us aren't aware of. Right. So they're playing that card.
Yeah, it's that whole Facebook profile. I mean, we're really everything that we do on our phones and our computers. I mean, that's all profiled. We're profiled. We have a file. Doesn't mean they're all into. But if they need to look into them, they will. And basically what they'll do is I'm not sure exactly how they do it, but they take analytics, right, from masses of people and see what affects them. What is it they get sparked by? What is it that emotionally sparks fear into them? What is it, and a lot of these things are pretty simple. Show red and flat red in space. And, that's one way to kind of, with the big ticker that goes across like mine, but it's something, something they want you to be afraid of. And like I said, there's real danger, but a lot of the real danger isn't getting reported.
Exactly.
Right? And like the thing going on right now, I mean, we've got people living in fear of dying of something that is invisible. It's invisible in many ways. There's multiple meanings to that, but meaning and we've already seen it. It's already as bad. It's ending up becoming like the things that we've had, the viruses we've had in the past, right? This is always comes up around political season, or, around election season.
Every time.
And they do it, and they just keep raising the stakes, right? So like right now, they're because there's so much exposure on them, right? On the powers that be, the people that wield power within our world, right? Yeah. Over our world, and we're finding out there's a lot of them that aren't so good people. They're all that they, which politician. How many politicians do we ever trust, really? Yeah. And then we trust them when they get on the news and say it's official, right?
Right.
So there's a lot of mind games being played, and they speak very cleverly. Trust me, everything that the people say, the politicians say, it's scripted. They say it on purpose. It has a direct purpose in what they're saying, and a lot of it is kind of manufacturing that consent. Tell you the truth if you listen close enough. They'll straight up tell you the truth, and then they'll lie right to you to your face and confuse you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's craziness. I love it. I love that we're living in this world because I've watched this all my life where they've just managed to just get away with it.
Right, me too.
Doing some of the most horrible crimes of humanity, just getting away with it. I mean, the Iran-Contra hearings and watching those and just going and really getting into them, but always even knowing, like you said, remembering, hey, there's, I know what's going on here, right?
Right.
Just at a young age, I think I was like 12 years old, and watching everybody just skate free from that. And all the other hearings that we watch, I mean, there's nothing really happens. It's a big circus. It's a big show for all of us to watch while they're doing other things. They're much worse. Right?
Yeah. It is all. So it's a game.
Yeah, it is a big game, and it's meant to keep us programmed or thinking the right way. It is. We live in a matrix.
Yeah.
We have our own. You know, the earth is real. It's natural.
Mm-hmm.
We have community. We have neighbors we talk to. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's real.
Yeah.
What you see on TV a lot of the time, especially on the mainstream media, meaning cable TV, cable news, a lot of this is fabricated, or it's meant to direct you in a certain way to take attention off of certain people that have some control over the media, right? Or Hollywood, or
Mm-hmm.
some of these people that choose to do harm to other people own these publications or have good friends that do, and they all seem to kind of that 0.01% seems to kind of just really stick together and hunker down and just kind of use all the resources they can because they have all the resources of the world. So we need to be prepared for that.
Right.
Don't let it freak you out though. Every time you think on the news or you see something, even online, when they're flashing something, a lot of that is clickbait. It's trying to click on it and see what's going on. And even if I don't care what publication, if it's a pretty big publication, I notice a lot of those, they're trying to spark fear to get you to click too, because everybody likes to see a train wreck when it really comes down to it.
Right.
So,
and everybody likes
be careful of the train wrecks that they're showing.
Yeah. Yeah. If there's a mass panic train wreck, just stand still. Veer clear. Yeah. It's but it's the same old story. It's the same old story that we've been seeing for far too long, and I think that it is extremely exciting to be alive and witness this right now, because things are definitely shifting. But yeah, I mean, like I see ads like all of a sudden I'll just be minding my own business and all of a sudden an ad will pop up in front of me. Oh, the stores are, gonna run out of meat. Order for, and like it's all about the end of the ad is advertising for a meat packaging company, or I don't know. I try to stay away from really watching TV at all, because I'll just sit there and like.
Yeah, because I rarely do. I rarely watch TV. I mean, if it's something that's going to be like a meditation or some type of music, I listen to a lot of music, which yes, that's suggestive too. But I notice a lot of the music more, at least the music I listen to, they're telling you things, just like movies. They are telling you something.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They may have reasons because they're showing you truth, so they narrate it their way for you. But you are seeing a lot of truth in that. I mean, there's more truth in movies sometimes, I think, than mass media, than mainstream and MSNBC and Fox News. I mean, I think those guys are they're just a bunch of grifters, really.
Yeah.
When you take all the makeup and the fancy clothes off, they're just a bunch of grifters. They're willing to sell out their own brothers and sisters, meaning humanity, to keep their job. And I feel like, when it comes to that, that's what we need. If we want to see real change, you can't just be bought by money.
Exactly.
If you understand truly what that money is for, they're offering for, offering, and for what you have to do for that, just say no. I mean, it's simple as that.
Right.
Because you're not going to live happy with that money anyway. Really?
No.
If you have any kind of conscience, right, and heart, say, turn it down or leave and walk away and do something. Which I have noticed some of the journalists and the news presenters that have went off and done their own thing, and now they're all free of that, right? And this goes for every career or every job, really. If you're doing something that you're not happy with doing, and if it makes you feel like you're losing part of your soul and selling your soul for it,
right,
get out, be done with it.
Right. Yes, get out.
Nobody owns you unless you love it. That's what
No.
they want. They want you to believe or be under this thing that you own, that you need to come to these higher powers of authority, and they are the benevolent ones that are going to give you this information, and only they can relay this information.
Right.
If you say something different, you're not going to be shown. Like, you're just going to get rid of censored. Right?
Exactly.
You say something with half common sense. Yeah, and it's really crazy. We're in upside down world, but I always say that. But I really truly feel that, just because of all the thrown at us all of our lives, and like you said, free us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's
go ahead if you want to.
Yeah, I was just gonna say something about, you know, the whole idea, you know, that we're almost born into, where we're just our only options are you know, going to school and being told what to do there, being told where to sit, being told how to think, being told how to learn. Because after that, you get to go get a job where you then again get to be told what to do, where to go, how to do it, you know, and you're given a wage that is, you know, chosen for you pretty much. And then you're given that money, and then you go home and you pay it back to the same corporation that you worked so hard to get it from. And then you get old and you die. That is such a box. I mean, it's
really? Like
this,
it's funny how they've managed, like people, certain people, bankers, whatever, you money managers, right? I mean, we're talking the elite money managers. We're talking people with billions of dollars, that or trillions, that always have that money cycling right back to them, no matter what. They're in every aspect. It's a monopoly, and that's not that's. People, we just look at that and we don't. Nobody's really bothered by it. I mean, I think now there are starting to be people by it. Right? I mean, like around the world's been on fire for a long time, but I think a lot of Americans specifically are finally starting to see the uprising that's been happening, the awakening, this is the awakening. It's not all pretty, right? When we're awoke to certain things, it's not pretty. Most of it is, but it's beautiful to have a more clear picture of how the collective is working, and you know, and not that toxic language that is spoken to us, or touches that are given to us to lead us in a different way, or to get back to that place of being kind of a slave to a master, right?
And
that's what we're breaking free of those chains. I think that's what we're going through right now, and it's beautiful to watch, but it's also very horrible to watch too in other places. So.
It is. It's sad, and it's.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you.
Oh no, I think I cut you off. I think there's a bit of delay. I'm sorry. No, I was just gonna say that.
No problem.
It is sad, very sad to watch, because it's a created hatred that it's been created for us. We aren't born naturally just hating on each other because of the color of our skin or our race or our tribes or whatever whatever is different between us. We were born very loving, compassionate beings, and that has been stripped from us with a manufactured hate. And I feel like that hate has been programmed into us, also through you know, schools and TV, and you know, things that we see every day. If everyone was right, and people feel like people feel really hurt. It's a genuine and valid hurt and pain that they're feeling. That's the part that upsets me, is that the level that people are being messed with in their hearts. I mean, it's in their veins, you know, it's affecting their auras and their health, you know, and it's not necessary at all. If we were to step back and see, we originally, from the get-go, we're born free. We're born free of separation. We're born free of borders and limitations. These aren't things that we were born with, and people forget that that's what's been given to us, is these borders in all ways, to where we've become so separated that it's caused us to fight against each other, which if people were to really step back and look at that, they'd be like, whoa, what the hell? What am I doing? Hang on a second. You know, who's doing this to us? And we need to, like, and I think that's a big thing happening right now, is people are starting to, you know, turn the other way and join together with our brothers and sisters, because that is how we're most powerful. You know, separated like this, fighting against each other, it's just weakening us on so many levels, every level actually. And then wearing masks and signs, I can't breathe, with a mask on. That is so incredibly that's so much conditioning going on right there. And mental,
that's psychological abuse right there. Psychological mental abuse. Yes,
it's 100% psychological mental abuse. And it pisses me off to no end to see my fellow brothers and sisters, which I really do feel about everyone that way. It's not just, I don't just say that because I like to hear myself say it. I feel that way. I love everybody. And it's sad. It's sad. And it makes me mad. And I like just want to go out and slap everybody and be like, yo, wake up, take off your fucking mask, take off the mask, put down a sign, stop listening to this crap already. Because
I know. Hey, let's shake hands. Let's give each other a hug. It's okay.
Exactly.
Right? Let's just be, and that's, like you said earlier, you were mentioning, you kind of brought it up, is the more that they kind of push this out, which is they're rolling things out, and trust me, folks, there's something coming after this too. The riots and a lot of it. The protests, I believe, they're starting organically, because they didn't start organically, but now they are. Because it gives people a chance. A lot of people are coming out there not only for one specific, police brutality, but they're basically showing this is us against the empire. This is us against the authority that has tried to put their foot in our back, keep their foot in the back of our neck all of our life, so we can't truly live free. So you can, right? And that's not what I've ever envisioned as far as life and having a good, everybody having at least somewhat of a good life, which is we all have that opportunity to live that good life, whatever that is for us, as long as we're not hurting others, right? Would you suggest in all this craziness how somebody could deal with this a little bit better, or how they can spot these things a little easier? Just to kind of give them a little bit more balance throughout all this chaos, because I think it's important that we do remain balanced.
Right. Honestly, I would suggest number one, you have to find a way to step out of the fear. The fear is just blinding everybody, and it's crippling everyone on so many levels. And on top of that, it lowers your immune system. And you're not going to think rationally at all. It's going to curb your ability to use your intuition and critical thinking. And it's going to be hard to see and read between the lines. If you can get past that fear, which a good way to do that is to really tackle where your fear is coming from. I mean, there's layers to this. You can't just go, oh, I'm okay. Nothing bothers me anymore. If you're really invested in what's going on in the world right now, it's going to take a little bit of work to rise above what's happening, but getting over that fear, finding ways to, what was that?
It is layers. It's very layered, and it's a process to kind of clearing the muck away from that third eye and from just yourself, really.
Right.
Like you'll see some truth, and then it's like, a lot of this comes within and how you react to things that are being thrown at you. They're being forced at you.
Right.
And I think, fear is keeping people paralyzed from moving forward, or in other instances, some of these things going on, panic. Fear leads to panic. Panic leads to poor decisions, and things get violent. And, it's important we kind of keep ourselves cool right now, so we can think clearly and see things. So I would say I agree with
you. I mean, what was I gonna say? Oh, shame is another big one going around right now too. People are afraid to speak their mind or express their authentic beliefs, or whatever it is they feel that with their free will they should be able to do, like not wear a mask or wear a mask, either one, whatever. should be up to that person, but people
whichever they want. Yep.
Yeah, people are shaming each other for that, and that is really silly because we've had viruses, invisible viruses, mind you, going around for thousands of years. I mean, this isn't something new.
Yeah.
We've had viruses and bacteria. Our bodies are really good at fighting those off, unless we're highly stressed out, undernourished, in a cave, and not getting enough oxygen. So the shaming thing is really bad, and the fear, the shame, the guilt, all that is just it's gonna make you go for a nosedive on the energy scale. And that keeping your energy raised and staying out of those low vibrational emotions is going to help to keep your intuition and third eye more clear, so that you can see between the lines and you actually notice things and think critically. I mean, like, there's so many things, like the bat quarter. No, I mean, I know a couple people. I saw a couple people bring up that the about the bat quarter. Oh, the bat quarter 2020. Did anybody like research when the quarter came out? It came out the same month that the corona, whatever.
They leave all these little, like, they play games with us, and
Yeah.
we still don't put two and two together. I'm here to tell you right now. I'm going to stop just for a second and explain to you. The people that are in power, or most of them, a lot of them, enough of them to make a huge difference, are not looking out for interests at all. They're looking out for number one and their family, their buddies and pals. And when it really comes down to it, they're looking out for themselves, if it all came down to it. So this is what we're changing, right? As we're seeing this is exposed to us. This is how we deal with it, by changing our consciousness to a more natural one, which is something that comes from our intuition. That shame, fear, we have to be able to kind of put those at bay so we can actually even come up to breathe and come up for air and awaken out of these little sleep spells that they put us in, because that is what they do.
Right.
You know, they put us in these spells of just being asleep and not paying attention, one lot of attention. Going, wearing masks, being in fear and not living, but surviving. And we're putting us all in survival mode. That's not a good place to be. That's that root chakra. That's a good place to visit, but not a place to live.
No,
right? That's where all of our primal instincts come.
Yeah, you're not going to survive there very long. I can guarantee that. You'll fizzle out real fast with adrenal fatigue, and the list could go on. But then I'll sound like a pharmaceutical commercial. Yeah, it's people. Okay, this is going to sound weird, but I think the most important thing, and this is the hardest thing for people to understand, if you want to raise your vibration to be able to rise above the negativity that's going on, you have to step outside your own programming and your own judgment towards others or whatever. And you have to see that even the people that are doing worse things were born out of love, and to forgive.
It's happened. Yep, they were. We all come from love. You're right. Yes, I know what you're trying to say. Yes.
Yeah, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to explain like what's going on in my head. I'm doing my best here. But
no, you're doing great.
People get offended sometimes when the word forgiveness comes up regarding people that do bad things. But it's key in raising your own vibration. It doesn't mean that you have to forgive what they did or even agree with it, but you have to find unconditional love for their actual, their soul, their being, of who they could have been. Not we are born into evil or hatred. Right. So if you can see past the shells that are around them and the layers that they haven't peeled off yet that is causing them to act out in horrific ways, and send them love and forgiveness, that literally raises your vibration and theirs. And I think if more people could figure out how to do that in this situation, we could raise the vibration of the collective a lot faster, than just jumping into the riots and the protests and the even the hatred for politicians and the elite or whoever. There's so many different groups or organizations.
So many names for it. Yes.
Yeah. I think that's a real key to finding that the vibration that we need collectively to really get this on a roll, progressing to the next level of consciousness. It's not going to happen if we just keep jumping right back into the same what we're doing.
Playing that game that's laid out instead of creating our own, right? Creating our own and creating something new. And these, hopefully that's what we're doing, is trying to create something that's already naturally here. We're already doing it. However, a lot of that negative, energy that's or information that's coming at us is causing our subconscious to act out as well. And,
it really is.
Like you said, the abuse being lied every day, and when it's coming from an official, you believe them. Because they're official, right? They're an expert.
Yeah.
Well, some of these experts have agendas.
Exactly.
Nice. Doesn't mean that we hate them. I mean, I don't think we should hate anything. That's not not a good vibration. Hating yourself and defending ourselves the smartest ways possible and with the best solutions possible. Sometimes we are going to have to go down in those vibrations. Sometimes we do need to find that fire and that sometimes we just don't live there. We need to be able to send and use that third eye, use that heart chakra and that throat chakra, use these, and our will, right? I'm using chakras. I do these healing. So I'm kind of,
I do too.
Using that example, but really kind of using our higher wisdom, using our higher intuition to solve a lot of the problems we're going through. A lot of it is thought. It's mind. It's being mindful of others. It's being mindful of ourselves. Being able to catch ourselves when we are making mistakes over and over again, and being able to change that.
Right.
If we want to make ourselves better every day, and trying to help others become better, right? And others find that, true potential and really live with that true potential and utilize. That's when we can get to that point. A lot of things are going to change. There are a lot of things changing just because of a lot of the negativity that's being thrown out there. So that positive energy is countering, right? And I see a lot of people out there even finding that peaceful love, standing together, Black, white, Chinese, doesn't matter what race you are, it doesn't matter where you're from in this world, we're all in this together.
Right.
We all need to look out for each other, and we all need to look out for those that are coming after us, right? And leave something that they don't have. As much of these, I want my grandkids to be able to not be so psychologically abused when they're watching media and want to see art, right? Whether that's through movies or, cartoons or radio or music or whatever it is, even in our governmental system. I mean, we're going to change that system too. That's eventually going to just be obsolete, and that's what's happening. It's really scaring people, so they're holding on to it. They're really holding on to it for as long as they can, and they're going to do what they can.
Yep, they are.
And I think a new system is going to be created. I don't want to use the word new world. This world is not new.
No.
She's very old and very, very wise.
If anything, we're new.
It's really just our natural consciousness. It's really like finding that natural collective consciousness and being connected to that and feeling it every day.
Right.
And that requires some letting go of fear and being brave and being courageous enough to let go to yourself, give in to yourself and be, right? Just like losing a lot of that, trying to control everything and letting go. Exactly. You'll know what you need to do at that certain time in life. You don't need to ponder on it. It's going to come up. You're going to need to handle it. or,
Mhm.
it's an opportunity to take, or whatever this is. You
Right.
handle it as it comes. Of course, you want to plan for things, but we don't, we're all like banking on this. Oh God, we could die. Yeah, we're all
Yeah.
going to die eventually.
Mm.
This body
Yeah.
will pass, it will wear out, and then we'll
Right.
ascend, right, even further into consciousness and spirit.
Mhm.
And so, I think it's important. I want to leave this here, and if you have anything else to say, I'm going to let you close it out, but or give some closing comments. And if
Okay.
anybody has any questions, please send us. Leave a question. We're good. We're just about finished, but I just like to leave. Just be. Listen to yourself. Listen to that own
Mhm.
intuition, not what's being thrown at you all the time and
Right.
projected at you. And I feel
Yeah.
like you're gonna get that feeling. I think gut feelings, for me, at least for me, I get a gut feeling right away. Now I have
Mhm.
taken the last 4 or 5 years really paying attention to what's being thrown out, so I'm really trying to read between the lines. I've been
Right.
fooled many times.
Mhm.
I've been fooled enough to kind of start to see how sophisticated it is and how widespread a lot of this misinformation is.
Right.
Purposeful misinformation. Some
Yeah.
people just give you information. They're a little. That's the way they see it, right? And it
Mhm.
comes authentic. Well,
Right.
you can start to tell the difference between authentic information and information that's being messed with for
Yeah.
its for other purposes. So
It
I
has a
believe that.
okay.
Please get rid of that fear, but just shed that fear and let go, and allow yourself to kind of use your own intuition. If you're questioning something, look it up.
Mhm.
Do a little bit of research. You
Right.
know, the
Mhm.
research still, if you look at a couple of different places, you can find more confirmation to your what truth's already being given to you. So
Right.
that's
Right.
how I'd like to leave it. And did you have anything else
Yeah, I was just gonna
about this?
say that everything has a vibration attached to it, and if you do listen to your intuition, whether it has to do with something you see on the news or an article or even a person or even a food or a medication, anything, and everything has a vibration. To it, and your body will know whether it is positive or negative, and that's really what we need to listen to. And also regarding death and being sick, that's another thing that's being programmed into us. I feel, um, that we are just given this blanket program that even if we look and feel good, there's an underlying disease or illness happening in our body, like our bodies are fighting against us or like we're fighting our body. That is not true. We are in control of every cell and of our body and our DNA, and we choose when we opt out of this game. Not We don't need to rely on outside information to tell us we are sick or we are ill. And I think that has a lot to do with this virus too. Like, if you start to acknowledge cell death, which is you start to say, oh, I'm sick, you're literally commanding your cells to follow that command, and they will follow that command. If you start to
Yep.
acknowledge the fact that you can actually tell your cells to heal, then they follow that command as well. So I think people really need to remember that aspect of us as who we are. We don't need somebody to tell us anything.
Yep.
But that's what I was
Right.
just going to touch on regarding.
Yeah, I think we all. Yeah, I think we all have that unique innate ability to. That's one thing about humans. We're able to kind of problem solve and get through things. Just don't
Mhm.
take whatever you see at face value, whatever that is.
Right.
If it's that shiny object or that shiny thing you see, make sure you give it some time to process before
Right.
really making a decision on the information you just got.
Mhm.
So
Right.
thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Deanna, for being here again. I hope to
Thank
have you
you.
back on here in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
And maybe we can talk about some more healing, or maybe
Mhm.
we can go into some. I don't know if you do any astral projection. We could do some of that. But I just really like to bring people closer to their spirituality and to their own individual power that they have, harnessing
Definitely.
that to use
Mhm.
that collective energy and that flow. So thank you so much. Thanks you everybody for being here, and thank you for being here. I've enjoyed hearing a lot of what you had to say, or everything you've had to say is really I've agreed with. So
Thank you.
thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I'll see you soon, and see you
Thank
guys all soon. I'll be back on here probably next week with another shamanic journey. So If you do you have anywhere that if somebody wants to get a hold of you, is there anything specific or anywhere specific they need to go? You do healings as well, right?
Yes, yep, I do multidimensional healings, I do Reiki healings, energy healing, intuitive healings, readings. Sorry, I'm being attacked by a mosquito over here. You can reach me at Dianna Trujillo on Facebook.
No problem.
Or White Feather Spiritual Healing also on Facebook. I do a lot of different things
Awesome.
spiritually. So,
well, thank you very much. Namaste.
Thank you, Aaron.
Bless you, and sending you all out positive energy for this week. And we'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Much love to you.
Love
Peace.
You. Bye.
Bye.